Hello mountain bikers all over the world. I'm Doug Folks and I am an old man in Lycra, and this is a quick video update from Namibia. It's hot and it's sandy.
On this channel you won't see any of this or this and none of this, but in this show we find ourselves with SA Roadtrippers in Namibia and chat to Mike Coppin from Food Lovers Market, who recently rode the Desert Dash, also in Namibia.
So we've been traveling with Southern Africa Roadtrippers up to Namibia, and a little bit more about them later, but absolutely fantastic opportunity and amazing experience. A little bit of a tip here: when you're riding in deep sand or sand, any sand, you've got to really look ahead and try and find where it's most compacted. So what I'm doing, I'm looking for where I can see tire tracks have compacted the sand, and that's going to be my path of least resistance. When you're going downhill through the sand, you need to keep your weight much more, not right on the back wheel, but try and keep the front wheel slightly lighter, so that if you do hit a bit of thick sand, you're not going to just plow in, it's not going to throw you off the bike. It's all about trying to feel the bike underneath you, have that confidence just to let the bike go a little bit, almost like riding in mud in the UK. But yeah, it's certainly an experience.
Hi, I'm Shaun Sale. We're out in Namibia, Tomorrowland, with SA Roadtrippers. It's a company that hires out 4x4s and motorhomes. We're doing a bit of recce's, see different routes, and enjoying some heat training in Namibia.
Shaun is no stranger to mountain bike events. His company supplies toilets and showers to many of the country's top events, and he is very strong, regularly podiuming in his age group. This I found out as we were training in the sand.
Initially, when I started mountain biking, I was close to 100 kilos, let's put it that way. And obviously through consistent training, consistent riding, consistent fun with friends, just mountain biking, brought myself down to a decent weight, and that's obviously everything. Entered a lot of the races and medium of the pack, you know. The big problem we all have in mountain biking is we're all chasing and we're riding with our mates, we're having coffee rides, and it's a race up to the next hill, and it's a race up there, and that's not going to get you anywhere. That didn't get me anywhere as well. A lot of the focus needs, I found, on aerobic training with your heart rate. So there's a very simple formula that's been proven where you take 180 minus your age. So I'm 50 years old, so you take 180 minus 50 is 130. So basically your aerobic, meaning your endurance level, would be 130 beats as your heart rate you train at. That doesn't mean that after a training ride you look at your average ride and say, well, my average ride is 130. That's not what it means. It means that you're training not above your 130 mark. You're obviously trying to maintain 130, but you're trying to not exceed that. And then that builds up your base, your aerobic base. That worked a hell of a lot for me. And then of course your fight or flight strength, meaning your strength to power up a hill and to scream away quickly, that can be introduced, but you first need to have a huge aerobic base, combined obviously with managing your stress, managing your sleeping, managing your eating, managing your blood levels to make sure that you are healthy.
SA Roadtrippers has branches in Cape Town, Johannesburg and Windhoek. In Namibia, the vehicles are all 4x4s because of the harsh conditions, but in South Africa you can rent 4 or 6 berth luxury motorhomes that come with a double Thule bike rack as standard. You might have seen some of their vehicles at local stage races. I caught up with their ladies team at the recent Wise to Wales, where the weather conditions were wet, muddy and very harsh.
I'm Katie Leonard. I work at UCT. I do medical research, data analysis, and at the moment we're racing Wise to Wales in the ladies race.
My name is Laura Stark. I'm a medical doctor, but working on my PhD thesis right now. Today went very well. We kind of get to know each other better, and we work very well together, so I think today was a very good day for us.
We're kind of finding our groove, and I think once we see that sea for the first time, we're just gonna head straight home for the beach. We were so happy to see this camper van, and we really felt for everyone that was in the muddy tents. And it really makes a difference for our recovery, and just having this little home, this little haven where you can keep everything clean and have a good night's rest. So it's a big privilege for us racing for SA Roadtrippers, and we're very grateful for it. So the thing you don't often consider when staying in a tent, apart from not having a lot of space and everything is everywhere, is you're always like bending over, and your back can actually get quite sore because you're not used to that action, whereas in the camper van you're fine because it's like the normal, day-to-day thing.
It's fully equipped. There's nothing else you need or you would ask for. There's power, there's water, bathroom, everything, and the beds are very comfortable.
And I think often at races, it's small towns, especially Epic, and there's often not really good accommodation, and then it's really nice to have the camper van. You don't have to worry about looking for a place on the internet.
So back to Namibia. The Desert Dash is a 373 kilometre in 24 hours endurance race across the world's oldest desert. Held in December, it is tough. You can ride as a solo or in teams of 2 or 4. The teams split the riding. I caught up with Mike Coppin, who rode his 3rd Desert Dash this year with team partner Amanda Stain.
2019's been quite an exciting year in terms of mountain biking and road cycling. We've done a bit of both. And I think the big races we've done this year is Joburg to Sea was the hardest or the longest, about 9 days. And that was our first one that Amanda and I did together. First time I'd done it, and it was as good as they say. I mean, it's one of the most fantastic rides that you can do. But it's a long time away from home on a bike, 903 kilometers or something. So the last race we've done this year, and probably the hardest of the years, is the Desert Dash. It's a race in Namibia through the desert at night. We found out about it about 5 years ago and entered it. And the first time we did it was as a 4-man team. So you can do a 4-man, a 2-man, or a solo. Quite different because it's through the night and it's through a part of the country you would never normally ride a bike. Starts in Windhoek and ends at the sea in Swakopmund. I found this was probably the toughest of the last 5 years or 6 years they've done the race. It's a 2-man event. What gets you through it is having a partner that you're riding for, because as much as you're struggling, so is your partner. And then I think what's got us through the 2 or 3 years, 3 times I've done it, is having that partner knowing they're in much trouble and they get into the end of their stage because they know that you're going to get to your stage and thinking, well, I better do my part here because he did his part, and I'm not going to, and that really gets you to the end. So that's what makes it different, and what makes it exciting. So that's a different race. It's worth doing, hard to get in. Entries are not so easy to come by, but it's really a great race to do. We promote healthy living, so therefore we try and get involved in running, cycling of any sort. We're not major sponsors in any of the races, but we part sponsors. So we'll sponsor the food in some of the races. We do a little bit for Joburg to Sea from our Seattle partnership. If you have the courage to get on a bike or to start it, my brother always says, just pitch up. You don't have to ride, just pitch up with your bike and you'll ride. Mountain biking, you never have a bad day. You always finish and feel great. The podium's always taken, so you always finish and you feel great afterwards. That's the difference with cycling.
That's the end of another fly-filled and sand-filled episode. I'm back off to Cape Town. This old man in Lycra. We'll see you next time.